Now we're live. There we go.
Fantastic.
All right.
Gotta love that gospel music on the entrance there. I really got to get that changed.
I know. It's
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like I'm
good,
entering
man.
church.
Yeah, me too. And I feel like I'm like so calm right now. I was, just I'm massively calm. It's nice, I guess.
Come and confess your sins, David. Come and confess.
Yeah, that's what we're getting. That's what we're getting
Oh,
prepped
Bob.
for on that one.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Okay, are we live?
How is
Are we
it?
on?
We are live. We are good. We
All
are
right.
talking to the Titans.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Hey, Summit, you've got your voice back. That's great to
I do.
hear.
It is mostly there. It's a little nasally, but it's there.
Right. Well, glad to have you speaking again, and we apologize for the delay in this Titan talk. But we wanted to do it at a time where there was some real news, and we've got some real news today, real events happening. So thank you guys for bearing with us as always. Yeah, we're happy to be here. John, you around?
I am here. I'm very happy to be here, and very good to have you back in your glorious voice, David, and Summit as well. I know you've been out partying every night and every day, and this is the real reason. But you've now recovered, and
Yeah.
it's very welcome.
You caught me. You caught me red-handed.
Yeah. Yep. Summit's the guy who's at the club standing on the speaker. Yes, like, dude, no one can hear you because the speaker.
Yeah, play Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny. We want to hear Bad Bunny again. And then the DJ slaps me off the stage, and that's what happens,
That's right. That's right.
Indeed.
To the summit. To the summit. Here we go.
Yeah, man. Welcome back. Welcome back, voice and all. Yeah, like I said to you a little bit earlier, I can hear you still a little bit nasally, but glad to hear you getting back. I'm sure you'll be up to full speed in a day or two.
100%. Well, we got exciting stuff today. Oh my gosh. Exciting news.
Indeed.
Indeed.
I guess
is on the what's on the schedule, Summit? What are we talking about today?
Let me just flip a few pages here. Hang on, let me see. I think, yeah, it's the Switch launch today. That's what's going on.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's really very exciting. Yeah. It's funny because we've been here before, we launched before, but this, it felt like a soft launch. Today, it feels like the big thing. It feels like, we've really been ramping up to this, and I'm excited to see what you've got to show us, Summit.
Yeah, and I think part of it too is, when we initially launched Switch, it was kind of like that, I guess for lack of better words, a testing phase. We got the decks out. People were able to move their tokens from, BNB to Titano. It prevented us from getting dumped on by, other dexes. And now we're getting to a point where we have Switch, which isn't only just going to be a place for you to trade out your Titano, but also, awesome forms of external revenue to bring into Titano, more features for Titans to use. You have other projects who are taking a part, and they can share, maybe some of their benefits with the Titano community. And then, of course, sometimes fees that they might be getting help us as well. So it really is just going to be a huge foundational piece for Titano, and I'm super excited to share that. I know there's some news. Obviously, we're getting closer to the launch time frame here. Maybe talk about how Switch is going to work a little bit, what's going to be launching with it, going in depth a little bit on the process of maybe how you get on the platform. Talk a little bit about last block stuff, the future, things like that. But just kind of mainly focus on Switch, really talk about Switch, really celebrate the months at work that are leading up to this. And then, of course, today is day one. There's still plenty to add, plenty to bring forth with on Switch, but, it's really a moment today.
Excellent. I wanted to, as I'm, I guess famous for doing, add some context around what this all means and why it's happening. I had a lot of conversations this week with Titans in Discord, and actually mostly this week in Telegram, kind of talking about where Titano is as a project, why you see these particular types of use cases happening, why you see them happening now, what it all means, right? Where are we going? And one of the things that I focus on is, these projects are innovation projects, right? When you're in a crypto space, you are of the mindset, or at least you should be, that you're in a space that's backed by innovation. Innovation means constant change. It means growth. It means never standing still, right? Because standing still can often mean death or something akin to death. So we should expect innovation and move. And Titano, as it's gone through its different growth phases and different periods of time, one of the things that the guys are doing throughout is watching what's happening. And what you find with any project is that some of the things that you were using for a long or extended period of time don't have the same level of effectiveness, right? So you might find yourself having to modify things, product development cycles, marketing, positioning, all these different things, messaging, all these different things that happen. And Titano's certainly no different. Change is a part of this industry, and it has to be a part of Titano. And I got into a discussion where someone was going, well, what does that mean? I said, I change at the same time can be scary, but what's scarier is not changing, right? It's sticking and staying on to something, and no matter what the outcome from that thing is, you continue to do it. So Swych and this relaunch and other things that are happening are part of Titano responding in a way that it has to, right? The goal is long-term sustainability and growth for this project. And that means if you look across the crypto space, it's the same for everyone. Ethereum had to, give up on proof of work and move over to proof of stake because that's just how the winds were blowing. And, if they don't, then they find themselves in a position where they're not able to compete and they're not able to deliver on the promises that they're making Ethereum holders. So Titano's in the same boat. And so as I've had a bunch of conversations with people who are going, well, David, what changes can you say will definitely happen or not happen? What I've said is, we need to look at everything and evaluate it based on the data. And to that end, anything that makes sense needs to be on the table. And, and so as you're seeing, the new things that Titano's doing, things are getting more efficient, more effective. And also they're getting broader, like Titano's building out horizontally now, not just vertically, but horizontally. And this new Swych launch speaks directly to that. We've got this great community. We've got this project that's proven everyone wrong so far. And so how do we now build out use cases and build out value in a horizontal way? Horizontal means that we can control these things a lot more. So that's what you're seeing with Swych now. We're moving to a position where we're going to be in control to a larger degree of our own fate. And so I just kind of wanted to put that as context because, again, a lot of people are saying, well, I don't know. Well, we know. And what we know is that we've got to keep innovating. We've got to keep changing. Got to keep trying new ideas. We've got to keep pushing the envelope. We've got to keep doing that because that is the way forward. There is no other way forward in this business. Right. And again, I invite you to see, but, I said to one of the Titans, I said, listen, you could imagine what happened when Apple Computer, right, started saying they wanted to sell cell phones, especially because Steve Jobs said, we'll never sell cell phones, right, or mobile phones. Well, what happened? What happened was the audience there, the market was there, it became a great business. And now the mobile phone business is the biggest part of Apple Computer. They might change their name Apple Phones, but at any rate, that's how business goes. That's how developing these types of projects goes. You got to keep your eye on, on the data. And so, when I have these discussions, I say to people, keep in mind, we're looking at the data and we're following the data. We're following what's happening. And some of that data is based on trying something that we tried in the past. It just doesn't work anymore. So we've got to do something different. With the marketing company as an example, one of the things that, we push forward to them is you guys take a look at us and give us your opinion about what you see and what's effective and what we should or shouldn't be doing, because we want outside opinions. And, it's critical. And sometimes they come back with opinions that are very different than ours, and we welcome that, right? That's a part of this process. So I just, again, wanted to set up the context around what we're doing, why we're doing it, what's the process. Everything as you see is well thought through. It's not being rushed out. Time is being taken to make sure, okay, did we look at this well enough? Did we consider these things, these issues and options we looked at in advance, in addition to what we're thinking of? All of those things are going into this process. They'll continue to go into this process. And when you see a decision, that's what's gone. That's what's happened. That's why that decision has been made. So again, with Swych, it's part of building out the Titano economy, the Titano ecosystem, right? Broadening it from a horizontal standpoint. So what does horizontal mean? It's a firmer foundation, a firmer platform for us to stand on. Right now we've got one token, we've got a bunch of cases that are built on that. And now what we're going to do is with Swych, we're going to offer all these different things, these different ways for people to interact with Titano. And that, to me, it's amazing. It's exciting. I'm more than excited to hear and to experience and be a part of what comes next as a result of this. I'm going to get off my soapbox now.
I love that, though. Come on now. That was great.
That was great.
That was great.
It's a very box. The thing is, in terms of every single product, whether it's crypto or not crypto related, as you pointed out about Apple or Google, or you could take any of these companies, at some point you go from a product to a platform, and that's the word that you used earlier. Summit, you talked about the platform we're about to go and look at, hopefully in 8-10 minutes time, the new Swych.Finance. So this is the thing, right? We're going from a product which was the Titano token, this auto-rebasing wonderful thing that came out and captured the imagination of the public during a time when everyone else was doing something. We did something completely different, and it worked. And we have a great product, but you got to build on top of that. And if you build on top of that, you have a platform. Why, why waste what you got by just staying where you are? You got to keep building. You got to keep building. You don't stay still, as you're saying. And people that were price dropping or valuations have dropped wide in every single company. We're talking about companies that have lost billions and billions. Companies that were worth 600 billion are now, worth 60 billion. They're down to a tenth of where they were. Lost 19 to 95% of the value. But if you look at value investors like your Warren Buffetts of the world, they're looking at has the inherent property, has that changed? Has the value of that changed? If a farmer has a farm and he makes a certain amount a year, he has this great business and it's worth $3 million a year. You have a downturn in the market, 20,000 for that land. Is he going to sell? No, of course not. He knows the value of his land. He knows the value of his business. And Titano is the same. The guys building, they know the property that they have. They know the value, the inherent value of the product that they have, the community that comes with it. This is the most valuable part of Titano, this incredible community that comes with it. Community of investors, which has become so much more than just people that bought in. People chat, people talk in Discord and Telegram and Reddit. It's a proper community, and we're looking to build from that simple product into a platform. And that's we're going to have a big step forward today, as you say, because we get to use that Titano token, not just on this platform, but this platform come all the way back around and support the Titano token itself, which is the first product. And of course, all the people that came with it.
Right. Well said, man. Well said.
Love it. Yeah.
I what I remind people of is that the agenda has never changed, and that's building value for the Titans. That's all this is about. You have never seen anything take place on this project that didn't have that as the primary and solely focused agenda. That's it. So don't expect that to change, that goal to change. It'll always be that way. And as you said, John, this is a step that goes down that road quickly and repositions us in a way that we need to be. I couldn't be any more excited. Like I said, we all couldn't be any more engaged on what's going on. We're excited to bring this to you.
So on today's timing summit, do you have a schedule for everyone? Just everyone that maybe just joined the conversation or hasn't been in the chats?
100%. I think what we're really going to talk about is what people can expect to see with today's Switch launch, as far as some of the features that are going to be coming out, along with a timeline or time frame for when to expect that launch. We're also going to talk a little bit about last block. So I know there's been a lot of feedback in regards to last block, a lot of questions that are in regards to last block. So talk about that. And then finally, just open up to some questions that we've seen in regards to, whether it be TSP, future plans, things like that, questions that the community has asked, that I have a little bit of a list on, and then just kind of talk about those.
Let's get to it. Fantastic.
Awesome. So, as many of you know, today is the day of Switch launch. We are hoping to get it launched, I would say, within the hour. We're waiting to get a set 100% dot and time. Could be as early as in the next 3 minutes and could be a little bit after that. As you know, with getting things up and running, it takes a little time to get things tested, operational, make sure that they're all running properly, the website's able to take the load and things like that. So it could be very, very soon. It could be within an hour or so, or potentially or 2 hours, sometimes like that. But right now, I would say it's still getting finalized and fixed and kind of all together. But I do want to talk about the things that are coming on this platform, that we can expect to see today, so that people are like, oh, what's that? Or what's happening? Or what things aren't happening? Just to kind of get that cleared up. But as of right now, we have like a set of features that are coming out, and then we will do an update a little bit after that brings the rest of the features that we've been talking about in like the latest updates and announcements on Discord and Telegram. And as soon as Switch is live, hopefully it's when we're on the stream, but if it's not, an announcement will go out today to let you guys know, so you can go access that website. But yeah, you guys want me to lead into it and dive away? All right,
Please.
let's go.
Please.
So, as far as what we can expect today, Switch will be launching with a few different things. One is we will be getting a all-new website URL that is completely dedicated to Switch, okay? So what this means is you'll be able to access Switch from this specific website. It kind of takes away from that clutter a little bit, makes it look a little bit more, I guess you could say, professional in that sense, that, hey, a DEX it's officially listed on its own domain, has access on its own domain from here. So completely new URL that you'll be getting on that. The other things that we'll be seeing is a little bit of a rebranding. We're going to get a new logo, some new color schemes, just a new look, which goes hand in hand with the user interface. So you're going to get a completely new user interface look. It's a lot smoother, a lot nicer looking, very, I guess, materialistic design aspect, if you want to put it that way. I think it looks gorgeous. I think that you guys are going to love it. And yes, there will be a dark mode for those who were asking about the light mode. Yes, there will be a dark mode. So you guys can switch between that. So there will be a dark mode that you guys can switch on that. But I think the biggest thing people are wondering is like what feature-wise are coming out today. And we will be seeing the Launchpad come out. So for those of you who don't know what a Launchpad is, it allows new projects to go ahead and list their tokens through us, okay? They don't have to go through any other projects like Pink Sale or things like that in order to get their projects up and running. But we will have our own Launchpad ready to go today. You'll have the ability for new projects to do whitelisting on there. The fee structure is actually the cheapest fees I have seen on any Launchpad. So for any project that's looking to launch, you'll have a huge benefit that way. And then, of course, some of the ways that we take trading fees is going to be just way, way better than any projects like PancakeSwap, or Uniswap. Obviously, they're not Binance, but for example, their trading fees are a little different, because our trading fees are burned on those native tokens. So that's a big thing. And that
Yeah,
is a huge thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
can you talk to that a bit, Summit? Because people might be wondering,
100.
people that just your average investor, maybe they come to it, they buy on PancakeSwap, they buy on any other DEX. They're probably wondering, well, what's the benefit to a project launching on Switch, perhaps, or what's the benefit to a Titano holder?
Yeah,
Now that
100%. So as far as let's look at PancakeSwap, for example, or even previously how we've done it. Every time that you make a transaction on Switch, a small percent of that transaction, about 0.25, goes into whether it be like to the treasury or used to purchase XYZ token, or maybe it goes to a liquidity pool or whatever it may be. PancakeSwap notoriously would take that trading fee and just, put it towards themselves, kind of feed themselves on that. At least they would take the native token. So, for example, that being like Titano in this case. So now, when a user goes on Switch and buys Titano, that 0.25 trading fee is entirely burning that Titano. So every time somebody will do a transaction on Switch, that token, okay, will get burned. That Titano token, not BUSD or BNB being burned, but the actual token itself that's taken from that transaction, that trading fee, is being burned. That is a huge, huge, huge benefit to Titano holders or to anybody that chooses to list on Switch. That's because any projects that have their LP on Switch here, their liquidity on Switch, their tokens as well for their trading fees will also be burned. So it's a huge benefit that you're getting that pressure relieved. You're getting that benefit, positive action towards your project. It's just going to be great. It helps, obviously, with us to combat inflation and have a nice impact on the price as well.
Right. And remember, from Titano's standpoint, when we were having these issues with PancakeSwap would hold those tokens would rebase to a large amount, and then they would dump them indiscriminately. And, it wouldn't matter what we were doing as a project, because all of a sudden, right in the middle of all this great stuff going on, we've got a huge PancakeSwap dump, the native Titano token. So by not doing that with projects that are on Switch, it becomes a great benefit to the projects that are on Switch, that come to Switch. So it's a great selling point to projects. We're not going to dump your native token and disrupt your project.
100%. Yeah. And the way that that's going to work is essentially how PancakeSwap would take it once a week. They took all of the collected fee tokens that they would have, and they would dump those, and have a negative price action. What will be done is once a week, from all of the collected tokens, from the trading fees, like for Titano, for example, or any project that chooses to list with us, we will burn all of those tokens once a week.
Fantastic.
Excellent. Hey, I wanted also, Summit, to go back a little bit when you were talking about the new URL and why that's important, right? An additional thing is having Switch on its own allows us to market Switch in such a way that it's unique and it's powerful without mixing messages, right? And that's critical, right? Because Switch has features and benefits that obviously they link, but they're different than Titano. And this is one of the things we talked about with the marketing company. We want to be able to market specifically those benefits and those attributes that are Switch related, right? So we can, compare ourselves directly with PancakeSwap as we're doing now, right? So having its own URL allows us to do that. It allows us to have clear messaging, to speak directly and in ways that we want to, directly to the people that we want to talk to the new projects, to the users. So that was another big reason why this new URL is such an important thing, and why it was critical to launch in this way.
Yeah, that's really important, David, because I think a lot of people, Titans included, they're wondering how this is going to benefit Titano. And it's a good question, because on the face of it, it looks like maybe there's a slight separation here. Why is it going on a new URL? But if you pause for thought for a second and you look at the product itself, Well, the guys, the devs, I should say, when they talked about Swych, they said that this would be something which would really help to change the space. It is a decentralized exchange which is open to everyone, new projects, existing projects, competitor projects, and we want people to be able to bring their projects to Swych and make use of the fact that there are no, that all their native tokens are going to be burned. It's very project friendly. What Swych can then do to support Titano, well, that's something else. That's something for Swych and Titano. But we want to really make it separate, that we're going to bring all these eyes to Swych, and those eyes will indirectly then see Titano. With no pressure. There's no sense, there's no mix-up, there's no conflict of interest here. They're getting incredible benefits from being with Swych, and that won't be taken away. They get that from day one. And yet Titano will also benefit. We'll get all those extra eyes, we'll get all that extra liquidity in Swych, which helps that run. And then Swych obviously is going to turn attention to Titano as well. And we're going to support the project that way. So in the long term, this benefits everyone. Really does.
Right. Well said.
Yeah. I see some comments already too, and it's kind of funny. It's like, imagine making your token deflationary just by listing it on Swych. Made me laugh a little bit.
I love it.
Like, oh my gosh, love it, love that statement. But yeah, I think it's really going to be exciting, and I think it's important to realize too that it's part of our ecosystem. And like how you guys are saying, I know there's worries like, oh my gosh, is Swych separating? Is it one? No, it's all together. It's all benefiting each other. It's a roundabout. It's here to help us. We're here to help it. It's all one big together ecosystem to ensure that everybody gets a great return on their investment. That's really what it is as well. But yeah, I mean, that's trading fees wise. The Launchpad wise, I don't know if you guys want me to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, awesome. So Launchpads are the key to getting, obviously, your project into the crypto space, into the crypto world. So having a Launchpad allows you to, set your price to get it, on an exchange, allows you to do whitelisting, so that maybe if you're trying to give benefits to XYZ investors, or maybe, hey, you want to throw a benefit back to, Titano, because you're listing on us, help, bring that community in. You could do that as well. Features like that. Just getting your project up and running, that's what a Launchpad is for. And I'm so happy to say that Swych will be launching today with a Launchpad. It's kind of like a double launch, launching a Launchpad. It's kind of weird to say, tongue twister. But super excited to see that. Now, what that means is people will be able to start applying for that Launchpad. Doesn't necessarily mean that, hey, now that the Launchpad is out, there's immediately going to be 600 projects that are listed. That's just not how the Launchpad works. We have to get it out there first before people can take advantage of it. But there will be documentations, applications, things like that, so people can start applying for it, so that they can get their project listed on the Launchpad. Now, a few things. One is, I have to say, the pricing to list on the Launchpad is extremely competitive. We are placed in a really good position that if you are a new project looking to get on the Swych, not only are you getting obviously the benefits of the burns, but you're also getting the benefits of just cheaper entry prices, a lot more control, access to a wider community. It's really, really exciting to come onto the Swych Launchpad as compared to, for example, let's say Pink Sale, which charges a 5% fee of the total BNB deposited to launch on their Launchpad. We only take 1% of the total BNB deposited. That is a 4% less fee that goes right back to you guys. The other thing is they take a 2% of the total tokens that are released for pre-sale, whereas we only take a 1% of the tokens total on pre-sale. Again, a decrease in fees that you are getting a huge benefit coming straight out of the gate. And then another great benefit too is there's no additional fee to add whitelisting. A lot of these projects or Launchpads will be like, hey, we need 5 BNB to add a whitelisting feature, 1 BNB to add a whitelisting feature. There's no additional fee. If you want to put whitelisting on there, you toggle a box and that's it. So, I mean, you're getting benefits right out the gate for, you want to list on that Launchpad. But of course, this is talking on the new project side of things, right? This is like, if you are a project looking to list, this is the benefits that you would get for this. I don't know if you guys want to chime in on any part of this or talk about this here.
Yeah, I actually do. With regard to attracting projects, right? It's very competitive out there. There are a lot of launch pads. So I've gotten a bunch of questions about, well, where are we? Do we have projects? And what I've said is it's a process, right? We've got to make sure what our position is in terms of what we're offering projects, and at the same time, we've got to make sure that projects meet a certain criteria, right? So we don't get a reputation of just having a bunch of garbage projects. And it's challenging, as we go out and talk with people, there's a lot of, conversations that have to happen. There's a lot of due diligence that needs to happen. And so we're in the process of doing that. But, as we do it, the key is, and I've said this to a few Titans who've asked me, I said, it's the kind of thing that as we go along and get the process down, it becomes more and more efficient and effective as we move along. In addition to that, Titano should not, and it is not, just depending on people approaching us. What we are doing is we are looking to initiate projects on our own that can then come through the Launchpad. So we will make sure that those projects are of the level of quality and are of the type that we want to see go through the Launchpad, right? That's one of the great things about having this pedigree in the space, right? A lot of projects come to us. Again, it's a process, and we're getting through it. And there are some projects we're talking about, but I'm asking you all to bear with us as we do this, because there are a lot of factors that are going into it.
Yeah, 100%. I guess I could talk a little bit now, unless John, you wanted to add anything onto the benefits for new token lists.
Well, just to echo what David's saying, the fact that you have a launchpad, and on what you were saying earlier, Summit, the fact that you have a launchpad going onto a DEX, which takes so little, both from your launch and also your fees once you're on the DEX, you're offering a really good deal to projects, a really, really good deal. And what you'll find is in that space, it's sometimes so difficult for projects to succeed because they're new. They've just launched. They're playing with a small amount of liquidity. They've got a really strong core following, but perhaps they didn't raise as much as they wanted to raise. But then they're losing money left, right, and center. And what we're hoping here is that, and what the devs are hoping is that they're creating something which can really stand apart in this decentralized space where we're not being greedy. We're doing quite the opposite. We're trying to create a bustling community. We're trying to create an environment where people feel welcome, and that will spread. When you do good work, when you offer real value, that spreads, and that's what we're hoping will be the case here. And I'm confident it will be, when people see what is available, when they see these incredibly low fees. We should see the rush as soon as we just kind of brave this bear market, for sure. But in the coming months, this is what I'm confident of, with the fantastic community we have helping us to get the word out there, with the marketing that we have getting the word out there. It won't only take a few projects to grow, and they will grow because the fees support them. That's the exciting bit, that we can build this, as we were saying, the platform for projects to grow, including our own Swych and Titano.
Right. Look, Summit, we should also take the other side of this discussion, and that is, what are the benefits of having a launchpad to the Titans?
That's where I was going to go to. You beat me to it.
My apologies. Sorry about that, man.
No, you're good. You're good. I was just going to say, because, hey, obviously there's the one side, which is, hey, new projects that want to come, benefits for them and things like that. But how does this benefit everybody who is a Titano holder? Because obviously we want to see, positive price action. We want to be able to see, you guys maybe get access to things like that. So let's talk about how this benefits you. Well, first off, like I was saying, trading with fees, things like that, those tokens are burned rather than us taking it. But more volume on Swych, okay? Maybe transactions that occur BNB to USDT, or switching things around. You're taking fees from maybe transactions like USDT plus or BUSD, things like that, okay, those still get fees that come back to Titano. So we're not going to be taking the trading fees from, you know, these tokens or projects like Titano. You're not taking those tokens, okay? But for anybody who transfers between maybe BUSD and BNB, things like that, that 0.25% trading fee, okay, comes back to the treasury and liquidity pool, which then gets to be used for buyback burns and things like that. But the more projects you list, okay, the more people that decide to use Swych as a platform, the more volume you have. And the more volume that you have, the more that you're going to see people transferring tokens between each other, accumulating these fees, and then those specific fees being used to put back into Titano, used for buybacks and burns, used for development features, things like that. And I think that's really exciting, is because more volume means more volume for us. We'll see more, you know, action there. We'll also see more marketing. You know, if we have Swych, which, you know, is, we have Swych and Titano, which are one and the same, you know, an ecosystem there. That's marketing for us too. Hey, welcome to Swych. Check out Titano. Titano is our project. What do you guys think of this one? Take part in this. Maybe we give benefits, lower pricing on this, or maybe a project that lists decides that they want to give the Titans a whitelist or things like that. There's going to be a lot of benefits that come out of it, marketing wise, trading fee wise. You're going to be getting potentially projects who want to benefit Titano and its community wise, things like that. But I don't know if you guys want to add any more to that.
Oh, absolutely. That I think excellent, excellent, excellent. And you know, so often, you know, I mentioned we're approached by lots of new projects all the time, and being able to use Swych as a bargaining tool, right? If because what's the subtext of every conversation, right? We want access to the Titans, right? So our job is to make sure that access is given in exchange for value, right? So great, you want access, what do we get? That's my daily conversation, right? Great, lovely, fantastic, love your project. Let's get down to the bottom line. What are we getting? We know what you're getting. What are we getting? Right? So having this additional tool allows us different ways to set deals potentially with other projects. Let me tell you what we want, right? If you're willing, if you're going to do that, you've got to launch on a Launchpad. You've got to utilize Swych. It's an additional bargaining tool that we can use for the benefit to creating value for the Titans. And you know, we should remain flexible, and we will, depending on the project. Some projects are going to be more appealing than others, and we've got an ability to modify things, as you were just talking about, Summit, so that, you know, the particular deal fits that particular situation. And that's how we're looking at all of this. So in terms of the additional value, having access to some of these projects, right, that the Titans may not have had access to, right? Whitelisting, as you mentioned, and even being able to get in these projects at good prices at all. So, you know, we understand that, you know, just about virtually all of us are in several different projects. We're all looking for new opportunities. I know I am. And so having these sort of closely held opportunities, as well as by investing in them, it benefiting us in terms of our Titano holdings, it's major. So yeah, really, really excited about it. And yeah, I appreciate your comments about it, Summit, because you're right on top of it. That's right on, and that's been part of our discussion as we move forward with why this is so valuable. John, I don't know if you want to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, you guys summarized it perfectly. And as Summit was saying, the power in this is that the more that comes to Swych, the more in the kitty there is, the more in the treasury there is to do those buybacks and burns, and, you know, support with advertising and marketing and support Titano. And it all comes back round. This is the point, you know, this is the platform, this is a 360. It all comes back round. There will come a tipping point, you know, and you won't even see it. And it'll happen overnight, where you'll have one projects, 3 projects maybe, and they're all advertising their launches on the Swych Launchpad. And they're bringing all their audiences, using all their influencers, using their advertising budgets, because Swych is the best place for those projects to be, right? Because they've got the best fee rates there and the best incentives, the best Launchpad deal. So they'll be promoting their launch on Swych. So all these new people are coming to Swych. They're pouring in, and they're, the Launchpad's making money for Swych. There's going to be volume trading off the back of the launch for Swych, and this kitty's building up for Swych and Titano. And what will happen is there will be a tipping point, like I said, and you won't even notice. There'll be 2-3 projects, and suddenly Titano's deflationary, right? And all those Titano that you've been accumulating, that keep rebasing, well, that's the moment you've been waiting for. And how does that happen? That doesn't happen by promoting solely Titano. That happens by promoting the platform and the ecosystem that we've built. Because at the end of the day, the ecosystem has to serve other people. It has to. You have to give in this. I'm glad we had that church music at the Start Summit. You have to give, right, to really get all these different audiences in, these different people from all these different areas of DeFi. And when you do, like I said, each one, it drips, and suddenly you have a flood, and you find that Titano is deflationary. It's as simple as that. And that's what they've been building, and I this is really the best way to do it. I believe so.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, thank you for that.
100%. And yeah, I told you, I mean, I knew the gospel music had a reason. Like, I really did.
You planned it.
I had it planned. I didn't want to tell you yet, but I knew you were going to say something like that. It was way ahead, But
angels singing.
Got it.
No, I think the Launchpad is really going to be exciting for new projects. It's going to be exciting for Titano holders, and it's really going to benefit Round Circle. It's going to have huge benefits for pretty much everybody. There isn't really a reason at this point to not want to list on Swych. When you have those competitive fees and just the access to the things there. Of course, obviously, when we're looking for projects, we're also looking for good projects. When you have such competitive fees like this, you want to make sure that you're attracting the right types of projects and giving all of you guys, all the Titans, access to projects that are genuine, that have a vision, things like that. And projects that will long-term help Titano as well. Not something where it's just, oh, here's a little bit of hype and then it's gone type of thing.
Yeah, that's very interesting, Summit. In that respect, this is how we're quite different to other platforms. The fact that we have this huge audience, this existing audience already, and that's another draw for projects to come in. And you've seen, David's seen, and the staff, the moderators have seen so many projects apply, and now up until this point, it hasn't really been ready. We've seen a lot of these projects, but we haven't been in a position to say, okay, let's go. But now the platform is up. Very shortly, it should be up. But the Launchpad's there. The fee structure is up. The deal is there, so everyone knows what they're going to get. And this has taken some time, and it required that process. It required the process of seeing these applications, seeing what people are bringing to the table, seeing what they want from us, seeing what they can provide. It's taken this amount of time and this experience of overlooking all these projects, overseeing them all, to say, okay, this is the deal we can offer, right? This is the best deal for you guys, but also for us, for Swych, and in turn for Titano. It's a process, and when it launches, that's when I think, now that everyone knows what we're offering, that's when we'll see the right people come to us, and we can then pick the right ones as well.
Yeah, I love that.
What's that?
I love it. All right. Well, I think that covers the Launchpad and trading fee side of things. Kind of talked about what should be coming out today, but maybe we take a little bit of a look into the future, kind of see what we expect to come out on Swych. I don't know if you guys would be down to, if you're okay with me going into that.
Absolutely, please bring it on.
Awesome. Okay, so as many of you know, we also have farming coming. So farming will allow, obviously, different ways for you to use your tokens, acquire different tokens. That will be coming, I will say, shortly after, probably in the second update. It's not going to be, if I say the terminology soon, that doesn't mean like soon that just turns into a never-ending soon. It will be a real, genuine soon. So things are being finalized and worked on with farming capabilities. That will be added as soon as it's ready to go. There will also be a chart system. So you'll be able to check some of your favorite coins, like where their charts are sitting at, see how they're trending for the day. So now not only do you not have to use a Launchpad and then go to a different, exchange, you're pretty much a one-stop shop here. Now you'll have the access to see all of the charts for some of those coins as well, to keep up to date, see those transactions, things like that. And then another exciting thing that we'll be having as well is an incubator. We'll be bringing an incubator to Swych, so you'll be able to get help build some of those projects, get funding, things like that. I don't know if you guys want to expand on any of this stuff. I know, David, we've talked about incubators in the past and things like that. But please, anybody?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We've gotten a lot of conversations, had a lot of conversations. You, Summit, John, and myself collectively with the devs, and even with some Titans, about how to sort of expand on the features that Titano as a project has, so that it offers more value to people. And I mentioned earlier how, one of the things that we're sure of is that we just can't depend on the right projects coming to us. We have to create those projects that we want to see, or support those projects that we truly believe in. And so having an incubator, which gives us the ability to, in many cases, provide funding and advice and direction to a lot of these projects, we can create some of the projects that we'd like to see, and some projects that have a lot of potential. So this has been something that's been talked about and in the works. And it's something that, we, particularly John and I, are really, really excited about having moved forward. The devs have thrown their full support behind this idea, and we're glad to see it. And, again, it'll be an additional way for us to build more value for the Titans going forward, and for Titano as a project. So yeah, really, really excited about the incubator. One quick note, and I know, John, you're going to say something about the incubator as well, but having your favorite tokens charting, and being able to do that all in one space I would love to have that. You should see how many different websites I've got open on my computer. If I can close one, I'd take it out. So yeah, appreciate that one. Definitely.
True. I'm one of those people who lives with 42 tabs open, and then my desktop's in there because I'm constantly screenshotting things and sending, charts to people. And then I try and drag those screenshots in. Oh God, there's so many of them. Anyway, yeah, in regards to the incubator, the one of the best bits of doing what we do, I think, is getting to meet people, meet amazing people in the communities, but also people that want to work with us. And sometimes it might sound like we're complaining because we're saying, we're having these conversations to try and get the best deal for Titano, and sometimes it doesn't work, but that's not the case. In the vast majority of cases, people come to us with great intentions. They have some fantastic ideas, and they often, most often, they're very good at what they do, right? So whatever particular subject that they're tuned in on, focused on, they're excellent at it. We've got so many experts in different areas that come to us, but what they don't always have is either the investment, the capital, or the infrastructure around them to build out that idea. They might have started it, but they don't quite know how to take it to the next step. And what we've been really good at, or been really lucky to do, is to overlook and oversee some of these, and get to communicate with these people, and start to think about, oh, hang on, if we were in a position to invest, perhaps this could be something huge. This could be something huge, not for them, but for our community. Could we build it, as I was saying before, take our product and now create a platform? Could we build stuff out with them? Could it then launch on the Launchpad? And the answers to all these things are yes, right? So this is the really exciting bit, pulling together that talent pool that we have, and the people that are listening to us now, but also very involved in our community, people that want to be here people that see opportunities that we can't do on our own, but they have the expertise to help us with. And with our devs now, they're 100% behind this, especially now we have the Launchpad and we have the decks. It's the next step. It's the next logical, clear step. Let's build additional things, pulling in talent from different areas.
Yes. Exciting. Absolutely. What do you think, Summit?
I mean, I love it. I mean, we've talked about it in the past. I mean, I remember, God, when you and I first talked, we talked about incubators, and you were explaining to me the whole process because I wasn't super duper familiar on it, which was my way of like deferring it to you guys a little bit. But no, I remember you explained to me incubators in the first place, and I was like, wow, that sounds like super interesting that we could help literally make the projects that we would like to see. And now here it is. Now it's something where it's okay, cool. We're gonna bring that as part of the Swych and Titano ecosystem. So it's super exciting to be able to see that on our roadmap that is not far away. These are all things that are not like months out. These are things that are to be expected soon. But I'm super excited to see that. I'm super excited to see, obviously, like the charts feature as somebody who has to check it every few seconds because I'm, OCD like that. And looking at all my crypto investments, I love that. And obviously farming, staking, all that amazing stuff coming too. I know people have been questioning, like, obviously we're going to be adding a dark mode into it. Auto tax will be something that gets added. It's not something that will be in the initial launch, but it is something that will be added. So don't fear on that there. But that's really like the big roadmap type of stuff that we're going to be seeing. The excitement that comes around there. We should be getting the white paper live soon, from what I've heard. So you'll be able to actually check out the Swych white paper soon. For those of you who have questions on anything or just want to take a look at stuff there. Still waiting to get 100% all the domains resolved for Swych to go live. And once that goes live, though, we'll obviously post that as a big announcement. But yeah, I quickly wanted to touch on some of the competition stuff that I said in the Titan talk, if that's cool with you guys.
Please.
Awesome. So, for those of you who read the announcement to get into this Titan talk in the first place, I did say that we would be giving away $100 in BUSD to the person who makes the best Swych promotional. That could be like a TikTok, a banner, a piece of artwork, whatever it may be, something cool, something unique. Go ahead and try. We'd love to see that. I'd say we'll probably let it run through the end of the day. And kind of see what you guys make. So give you guys some more time. And then memes. If any of you guys can make some awesome, fun Swych memes and share them around on Twitter, and pretty much Reddit or anywhere, something that benefits Titano in a positive way, $50 in BUSD to each person who's able to do that. And of course, we will also talk about, so maybe we'll have like some little quizzes and do some little giveaways as we continue going through the Titan talk that we have right now. But we've talked a good chunk on like Swych stuff. Anything you guys want to add to it as well, or kind of bring in on that?
On the competition, me, on the contest stuff.
Or just anything Swych related in general.
Oh, okay. Can it be 24 hours just so that people have
24 hours?
Chance?
Yeah, let's do 24 hours from the start of the stream. So 24 hours from the start of the stream. Let's go with that.
I love how you just cut off an hour for people. You just after 24 and he's so
23 hours. 23 hours, right. Guys.
Because one thing about that, I want to make sure. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I mean we could do 24 hours from now, so that.
No,
right,
no. I'm joking.
No. I don't want to be the hour cutoff guy here. Okay.
It makes sense.
Question for you. I want to be clear that I understand because I might do one of these memes. So how do you tell me what people will get and what's the criterion to win something?
Yeah. How do I enter?
So how do you enter? That is awesome. So as far as the promotional material, we would love to see you guys post it in any of our social channels. So if you make a cool TikTok or a banner or anything like that, post it in our socials so that we know who you are. But please feel free to share it around. Share it on Twitter, share it on Reddit, share it through the community, things like that. Share it around wherever you would like, but please post it somewhere on our socials so that we know who you are, so we can get that prize to you. For the memes, same thing. Oh, go on. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, so, and how many people will win, or how does that?
How many prizes are there? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, as far as the winner goes, we'll have one person for kind of that creative. So whoever makes the most creative, whether it be video, banner, something like that, we have one winner dedicated for that. And then we will have two winners dedicated to memes. So memes being just, quick little images or a little GIF, that something like that. They're not supposed to be these overly creative things, just little things that maybe you could spread around to get some publicity and stuff like that. And those, just share it around as much as you want, but make sure you post it on our socials. I know within Discord, we have we call it the creator forum. You could go ahead and post it in there. It's a nice little place to actually showcase any custom work that you've done. I've seen some amazing things just in general on there. And then for Telegram, obviously you could post it within the Telegram channels. Reddit, you could post it within, I'll make a Reddit post and you can put all the content within there. And then for Twitter, you can go ahead and just reply to the Titan Talk tweet that we put out. And within that same Titan Talk tweet, it also talks about the little giveaway on there as well.
Got it. So the first winner will win $100, and the second in BUSD. The second they're $250.
$250 for the memes and $100 to the best person who makes like a creative type of thing.
Now I got it. Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect. All right, thank you for that. Just was a little bit unclear.
Yeah, I think it was kind of a last minute thing that we decided to do, and I was like, let me just throw some prizes in there.
Yeah, when it comes down to throwing money to the Titans, I'm in on that always. Last minute or first minute, it's all good, man.
But yeah. All right. I guess we are talking about Switch stuff. As we get more, if we get any cool new Switch things, you guys know what I'm talking about, like a zeroed in time frame here, we'll quickly jump over to that side. But I kind of wanted to talk about Last Block and some of the things that were going on with Last Block, if that's all right with you guys, unless there's anything else you wanted to add in.
I'm good.
Please
John?
go ahead. I'm just cracking on with my meme while you talk.
Oh man, John's going for the win.
You carry on.
Okay, all right. This is why I didn't want to do it that way. Now I'm just going to hear it from John. He is the 23-hour guy.
Well, you've taken up another 10 seconds. Please get on.
So, Last Block.
Right.
We've come out with it a little bit ago. Obviously, there are definitely things we can change. We've heard a lot of feedback from all of you. So let's kind of talk about Last Block. So one thing I really want to stress with Last Block is the objective of the game, and that is to be the last block standing. Now, I did have a Titan Talk last week or a week or a half ago, or I would say, where we kind of talked about the mechanics of the game, how it worked, how you play. And a lot of questions came into play is like, why would I join in phase 1? Why would I join in phase 3? Why would I join, at phase 5? And a lot of it comes down to the fact that the game could end within any phase. You could be in phase 2, and if that countdown hits 0, that game is over. So the real objective of this game is to be that last block, to be that person who is holding that last block when the countdown hits 0. That is what that objective is. That is still going to be the objective and continue to be the objective. But I think the biggest amount of feedback that we have heard is two things, which is the phases of the game and the royalties of the game. Now, I can confidently say that the team is working on adjusting both of those things to be more beneficial to the Titans and just help speed up the process of the game. Can't go into exact specifics as some things are still in flux as far as what timeframes will look like, what royalties will look like going forward, things like that. But I can say that the royalties will be adjusted for the game to be more beneficial, so that when you are accumulating blocks and such, that you feel like you're getting something out of it when it's going through on that. And I can also say that the time frame of the game is going to speed up a little bit. So you won't have that kind of hanging out in phase 4 for XYZ amount of time. It's going to speed up a little bit to feel a little bit faster, get more excitement around it, build hype, getting closer to that 0 o'clock on there. So we're adjusting those things just to give you guys a better experience, which I think is great. I personally love the idea of last block. I think it's exciting. I think getting into that 0-second clock brings me back to my eBay days of when I wanted to buy an Xbox for cheap on eBay, and I kept trying to be the final bidder when it was at $6, wholeheartedly knowing I was not going to get that Xbox for $6. But man, it was just that rush, that rush of being that last person to try and get that bid in. And that's what, last block is you're trying to get to that last block, that exciting part there. Another thing I would say with last block is that it is really great for deflation. The one great thing with last block is it's automatic burning. Every time a block is purchased, okay, it is immediately burned. Okay, a block is 5,000 tokens. Okay, and if you look at your transaction, you'll immediately see 3,500 actually go towards the jackpot, and then of course gets split up in the ways that it is. And then 1,500 of those tokens are immediately sent to the burn address, which just helps great for inflation. So, I mean, a lot of tokens have been burned. We're talking millions and millions and millions of tokens. Even in the token burn that we recently did, which was 750 million, that didn't even include last block tokens. So, I mean, last block is just constantly burning every time somebody gets a block, which is great, helps to combat inflation. It really is going to be a great use case. But we've heard you. We understand that there's things that need to be adjusted. We understand that, we need to take action on those royalties, to look into how to improve that lottery, changing the phases, making sure that we're not seeing any type of bot actions on there, things like that. So a lot of things are going to be worked to ensure that it's a better experience for all of you guys moving forward. But yeah. That is my 2 cents on everything here. I don't know if you guys wanted to chime in on that.
Indeed. A couple of things. So this has been a great example of the devs being responsive to the Titans comments, and why we are constantly saying, please, give your voice to what you feel about something, because the goal is to make something as competitive, as as profitable, as satisfying, as fun, right, as rewarding as possible. And the devs won't always get that right. You can have a great idea on paper, but when you put it into a particular marketplace, right, it plays differently than it did in the lab. And this is a great example of that. And again, why your voices are being heard. So they've been receptive to what's being said, and that's why these changes are coming. We've had so many conversations, and guys, you can attest to this, around modifications to last block. I mean, it's been spirited discussions. It's been, people making sure that don't forget about this part, or, push it in this way, and all those things. And again, it's been great to see how, all the differing opinions and all the differing input gets processed, and it turns into what we believe will be a more compelling, more competitive, more fun game. So I just want to use this again as a confirmation that your voices are being heard, and keep speaking to things that you want to see happen with the project, and you'll see again that the devs are very, very supportive of it. John?
Yeah, it's as you say, it's different when you test it and when you design it and you test it in-house. Even the devs tested it first. It was working great. Then we tested it. The whole team tested it, right? And we had an afternoon of testing, and it played great. It was so exciting. We couldn't wait to get it out there. And then obviously it's gone out, and and it does work great. There's a fantastic jackpot there, and there's it's already hugely deflationary, as Summit's pointed out. So it's working. It's just the gameplay could be a bit faster, as it were, and there are things in tune, but that's fine. It's going to get tuned up, and the goal with all these things is to build a product or a series of products that as we grow, as our audience grows, the effect is compounded. So when you have 100,000 people playing this game, the jackpot's going to be massive, hopefully, and then it's going to move a lot faster, and then it's going to be a lot more strategy in the play. It should be worth noting too that this is the first of the games that is actually completely skill based. There's no element of chance here, right? So it's a really nice addition to the games that we already have there, and it adds another angle to what we're doing here at Titano. So a couple of things to note there, and I think the devs are doing absolutely the right thing. They've been really, really fast to react, and they've got a bunch of suggestions which we threw forwards from the Titans, from the Titano audience, and also that they've presented to us as well. And they're looking to put those in as soon as possible. And as Summit says, the details will be coming out very soon, just as soon as they can put all this into action. So it's about deployment and putting it in at the right time as well.
One more thing, Summit, I'd like to add, and that is marketing, because we've got a lot of discussion. I don't know if this is an area you were gonna talk, and I could again be jumping the gun. So please let me know.
Please, it was not an area that I had set, but please take this, go for it, 100%.
Okay, so as all the Titans know, we are working with an outside marketing company. They've been amazing. We have, I believe, John, 6 different contacts that we're working with directly from the marketing company. And that, of course, includes our own project manager. But, it's a wide range of people from different departments who are all coordinated in making sure that, Titano reaches its goals in terms of marketing. And it's been a wonderful experience. It's time consuming, but it is certainly worth the effort. And we are very confident that it's going to not just yield immediate results or near to immediate results, but long-term results that Titano will be able to utilize going forward in everything that we do. We mentioned as an example, the Launchpad and launching new projects. We'll be working with the marketing company to help that happen, as an example. But with regard to launching new things, right? Because I've gotten a lot of questions around, well, why wasn't this big marketing push around Last Block? And this is a great example, right? Because these projects, many of them, use cases, need time to be put into the marketplace to see exactly what it is that we have and what it is that we should market, right? Sometimes you get it out there, usually you get it out there and you discover things that you didn't know before, right? You might have an idea that it's going to play like this, or, this is going to be the most important thing. And then when it's actually being played, people are talking about this element or this aspect of it. And that's what should be marketed. Additionally, in this case, where we're making changes around making the game, more compelling even, right? Having that extra time to kind of, again, figure that out and then marketing is a lot smarter and more efficient approach. So as I've spoken with people about it, I've said, listen, we get it, we understand, but the goal is this isn't some short-term, marketing push. This is going to be a consistent marketing strategy, right, and component of Titano going forward. So, we're not looking at it from a 1-minute thing. We've got ways to market there, and like I said in the past, a lot of those things just don't work anymore. So the reason we've undertaken this marketing and this type of a marketing strategy is, again, to build a foundation for marketing platform that we can utilize and, and put out there over different marketing channels that can then work together to both, create more powerful marketing and also, again, create a platform that I talked about it before, where we don't have to keep starting our marketing at zero every time we start a marketing campaign. We're halfway there because all of those foundational pieces have been laid. And that includes everything that we're doing, right? That includes the switch deck, that includes last block, that includes even things that are already out. We, John and I, in our conference call this week with the marketing company, talked about, going back and remarketing things like the lottery and Titano Play and other things that we have here. So I just wanted to, give a little bit more insight on marketing strategy and why you see certain things as you do. It's not that we're not aware of it. It's just, again, it's part of this overall strategy that, again, the marketing company is working with us on. Great things happening with them. We're moving forward, some amazing things. They're going through their process with us, right? And Titano's learning that process and maximizing that process. And yeah, so you'll start seeing it build, and it'll be a consistent build. It'll be a consistent utilization of these things, not just one, shot and then it's over. So I just wanted to add that, again, using last block as a great example, right? Yeah, I just wanted to add that there.
Yeah, that's so important. I think for people looking in, sometimes they do wonder, but last block, as you say, is a great example. We held on a video. We were going to put out a video, an instructional video, and we held on that because we knew within a couple of days that we were going to change some elements of last block, right? And so we already held that back so we could see where it was going, and that video will come out later. So that's a very good example of saving the resources, but also making the best use of them, and also timing the marketing right based on how the project goes. We have to be able to pivot. If you don't pivot, then you're giving up on it. We're going to keep pivoting, and we're going to make sure we tune it up and get it right. As for the marketing, as you say, David, we're in conversations with them daily. There are questions being answered every single day, and imagine if you took a brand new person and brought them into the room today and tried to explain Titano, just the token. It would take you a few hours. If you tried to explain Titano Play, the lottery, Betswell, partnership, and then all these other things, and why we're trying to do this deflationary mechanisms and all that, it's just so much to go over. So we've done that with the marketing company. They're great. They're on board, but we've done that multiple times now with every single product. We've answered so many questions, and we've gone in depth on where we want to go as a product, as a platform, and as an ecosystem. And like you say, David, it's about compounding. So much like Titano itself, we got to start slow. And with this marketing agency, it is slow. It feels slow at the beginning, but there's so much work going on behind the scenes. And when it comes out, it starts as a drip, as I said, with all of this. That's how it works. It starts slow, and then it's going to grow, and it's going to build. And once we have some kind of momentum going, I'm sure it's going to keep compounding from there. That's really the right way to do things. If you market a single item, as you say, if we threw everything at last block and then it didn't go well, then everyone's deflated, everyone's unhappy. Maybe that day the market wasn't great, maybe Bitcoin dropped 7-10%, and people wanted to save their cash, and then you blew your shot, right? But here it's not the way. They're being very strategic. Our team is being very strategic, and the marketing team wants to get it right too. We all want to get it right. So there's I think it's 6 or 7 people that we're directly in contact with who ask us questions daily on how we take each element, from videos to influencers to what else, to content creation, to graphics, to copywriting, to article writing. There's different people for every element. And then those are just our contact people. Now they have teams at their side for each of those areas. So there's a strategy team which consists of 4 or 5 people that are working on the SEO and the analytics, and how best to pull that together alongside all the other elements I talked about, all the advertising elements. So we're talking maybe upwards of 10-15 people working on Titano and Swych right now, just from the marketing perspective. Now, firstly, that's a lot of money, but that's a lot even more time. And it's a lot of time to get things started, but it has to be this way. And I'm excited for everyone to see it. it will all start flowing very soon. And we've actually asked the marketing team if they'll come on one of these Titan talks, right? And I think they said yes provisionally. So the lady that said that she would most likely do it is currently on holiday, but she will be back from her leave very soon. The rest of the team's going to continue working in the meantime. And if we can get her on board here onto a talk, then we'll absolutely do that. And you can hear it from the woman herself, and she can tell you, what they're going to be doing from their side in relation to us as well, which I think will be a really good big eye opener.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Well, it's a handful summit, but it's good.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot with the marketing stuff. You guys know that side way more than I do. But I think it's it's an ever growing thing. It's a constantly adapting and adjusting thing. It's not just hey, let's make a banner ad and hope for the best. There's a lot more that goes into it. People think it's just an overnight like phenomenon that happens, and it's just not. There's a lot that goes into marketing, and especially working with a marketing agency, where there's a lot that has to be done behind the scenes for it to actually be beneficial. You just
and we don't work in a bubble either. It's not like Titano. We can request everything to happen exactly when we want it to happen. If we want the article to go out on a certain day and the banners to go at the same time, and it's not like we're the only project competing for that space, right? For those articles, for those banners. So we have to time it right so that we get the best out of it, because it's about as a person coming to invest, you want to have those reminders. You see the banner once, and then you hear about it from someone else, then you hear an influencer talk about it. It has to compound. It has to come all together. There has to be a perfect storm with these things, and designing that takes a lot of work. It's very delicate, but that's why we're working. That's why we're working with them, and you have to do so much that even if you only catch pieces of it, it's more than enough to turn you onto this project, turn you onto Swych, so that you see it. And looking at what we're doing, what we're talking about today, we're talking about Swych, we're talking about this Launchpad. There is so much to advertise here. There's so much value that we're bringing to DeFi, and then it's about how best to get that message out. You can't just put out a banner which says Swych Dex. That's it, right? You can't just.
Why not? Come on now.
Yeah. So we're doing all of these things. We're working on the best communication possible, and working with people that do this 24/7. It's really exciting, but as you'll see, when you start seeing these things come out, you'll see it everywhere. That's the goal.
Right. Across all the channels. One more thing I wanted to add to that. It's a journey, right? And we are happy to be on it. One of the things that's amazing is they're really excited about what we're doing. And, John and I spent a ton of time, and Julius as well, educating them on Titano and what this project is. And they recognize that, it is a special project, right? They recognize that, there are some major benefits here, and to them, that means, hey, if we do a great job here, right, people will know that we participated, it was our work. And
that's
so they're really, really engaged with us, and we appreciate that. But there's a lot of technical stuff. There's a lot of details. It's a lot of work, right? They have their own processes, the way they go through things, and they demand a lot of things from us that takes a lot of time. And, and so, but with that, as John is saying, we'll create this platform, this foundation for marketing across all of the key channels that we'll be able to use for everything that we're doing, right? So that's the work that's going in now, like to create that firm foundation. So when we want to go here, we can go here easily, right? And keep in mind, a lot of these things just haven't been created before, right? We're pushing them in ways where it's just not typical for a crypto project, but it's critical for us to do. So bear with us. We are making a ton of progress. Things are coming along really, really well. And as John was saying, we're all going to see it very, very soon.
Love it. So as far as marketing goes, I think we've covered all of that there. I know it's probably one of our longer Titan talks. So we'll try see if I don't know. We'll kind of move into some questions that I know the Titans have been asking. Go from there, and then I don't know if you guys want to do a little giveaways here and there. Maybe ask some questions and give the Titans some prizes. We could do some stuff like that too.
You know,
if there's any
can we just one thing I was just thinking about, you know, your competition, going back to your last minute competition.
Yeah.
So you got the $100 prize from the main prize. Then you've got two $50 prizes, right? But this is for people that are creating the memes. The first thing is the big creative thing, and then the second is the two memes. What about for people that just share this stuff out? You know, put it on your Twitter and get it retweeted. What if you just retweet other people's art? You know, just sharing that. Can we give something to, you know, just pick out, I don't know, like a couple of $25 prizes, maybe just another $50.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe something like that.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Not everyone has the time. It's only 23 hours and 50 minutes left, 30, 40 minutes left.
All right.
So maybe, you know, just by sharing the love, I'd love to see people retweeting, you know, about Swych and sharing those memes and getting the word out, you know, and maybe they could have a little incentive there and maybe win a bit of money as well.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do, you know what, let's go. Do you want to do 25 or $50 a person maybe?
Well, why don't we do like 4 prizes of $25? Because you're not creating the thing, but you are sharing the love.
True. All right, let's do it. People who let's see if we can get those shares out there. People with the most shares. Yeah, we'll do $25 a person on it. Let's do it.
And anything they should hashtag or you know, just
let's do hashtag Swych. Let's get hashtag Swych in there. And maybe hashtag Titano. Hashtag Swych and hashtag Titano.
Perfect. Yeah, so just share your favorite memes, share your favorite bit of art. It will also help that person as well, because, you know, they'll get a bit more attention as well. And we can all get people talking about Swych, I hope.
That's exciting. I like that. Let's do it. All right. So we'll get some sharing out there. We'll get some excitement building, get some hype going. I like it. I love it. Let's do it. All right. Come on. I'm trying to be hypey here. Come on, guys. Help me out.
Good job, man. Good job.
I saw someone saying that, David, you're not as hypey as usual. I think it's because they've not heard you sing yet. Where's the
That's what it is.
Yeah, you know what it is? I'm in this mellow, it's been with me for the last couple of days, right? I'm in this mellow kind of a mood. And I think it has to do with there's so much going on. And, you know, I'm trying to combat that so I can actually sleep at night. But I'm going to tell you things. I could not be any more excited and proud, right, of what's going on right now. This is where we all should be. And, you know, it's going to be the foundation for the future of this project, the future sustainability. And I'm over the moon excited about where we are and what's coming and what you Titans are going to see come over the next, you know, several months and into the foreseeable future. So yeah, I am there, and I do realize I am more mellow than usual, but that's kind of what it is. It's just, you know, long days, and yeah, it's late for me. So I've got to wind this down somehow, or else I'll be up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, writing, and that's not good. That's not good.
Someone's just put the most hype they saw you was when you had to go and chase the snake.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Yep. Yeah, and my girlfriend's always like wondering, like, I don't know how the snakes get in the house. It's like, honey, because you leave the doors wide open and they just, you know, they see the light and they come in. Yeah, we definitely.
Little does David know, I've just been letting snakes in his house this whole time just to keep things interesting, you know.
Well, it's rainy season here. I'll tell you. Okay, so every morning, you know, we keep. It's like, you know, where I live, we keep our shoes outside of the house, right? It's a typical thing here in Asia. And so every morning when I go to my shoe, there's a frog in my shoe, right? And it's the same frog. And I have this thing where yeah, I have this like process where I'm always checking, because the first time I did it, I didn't know, and I started to put my foot, and I'm like, what the hell is in my shoe? And I knock, and it's a frog. And so it's amazing to me, because this little guy, I take him out of my shoe, and he hops off like the little, area in front of the house, and I watch him hop away like he's going on to his day. And then sometime during the night, he comes back and he finds, now there's a bunch of shoes out there, but he only picks my shoe. And it's an amazing thing. And I always think, so whenever I go in the morning and I'm going to grab that pair of shoes, I'm always like, I wonder if there's a frog in there. But it's because it's rainy season. He won't be here the entire year. But so that's my animal story. Frog in the shoe. There's something to that story that is like the meaning of life. You know what I mean? A frog finding his way back. Like, I imagine this little frog like coming back, going. Oh, and by the way, so the front of the house is elevated, so he's got to get up there. Like, he's got to jump up the steps in order to get to my shoe. And he does it every freaking night. It's amazing. Amazing.
It sounds like a children's book. A frog in the shoe.
It does.
It's a nice frog, though. Yep. My son's always looking at it. Dad, is he in your shoe? He's in the shoe. How come he doesn't go in my shoe? Oh, I got a special shoe.
Get him his own shoe. He uses his own shoe.
That might not be a bad idea. Maybe I can get him some Yeezys or something.
Yeah, there we go.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm really hyped, guys. I really am, and I am, like I said, this is where we need to be, and I'm really excited about having more conversations with the Titans about what all this means, and I know there's a lot of that coming, and I'm just really excited about being able to engage in that part of the project as well. So yeah, really, really excited.
Love it.
You know what's just occurred to me? Isn't this project now a year old?
Not yet. November
17th. November 17th would be 1 year. We are almost 11 months.
Wow. That's incredible.
It is incredible. It's amazing. Think of all the projects that we've seen that have, come and gone, and, and made promises, and here we are, still here.
Yeah, and it's easy to forget, but if you go to the Titano homepage right now, if you go to the website, on the top bar you've got the home, you've got this, then you have Swych, which obviously is going to be moving to its own URL very soon. But if you look at the products under Titano, there's Play, there's the TSP, the staking pool, the stable pool, there's the games, there's Last Block, there's Lottery. We've really built this out. There's been so much. We forget. I forget sometimes that we've done so much. And then if you just scroll across to the right, to the bit where there's a deck screen, a Gecko terminal there, it's a reminder that we're listed. Swych is listed on CoinMarketCap. That was an adventure, but it's done. I see so many other decentralized exchanges that just can't get that done, and we've got it done as well. So we launched once before, of course, with Swych, but this feels like the big launch. It feels like we were setting up then, and because we had to, but now this is the opportunity for us to really define where we go next and what we do next. We've done so much in 11 months, not even a year yet, but as you say, David, we're still standing, we're still building, which is the big thing.
Yeah, I'll tell you something else that's also amazing. You mentioned our use cases, and I invite people to go around and see how many other projects have a lottery, have a version of Titano Play, right? Are launching their own decks. It's really amazing how copied this project is. I mean, not to mention, of course, the probably close to 300 Titano quote unquote forks. But I mean, even the use cases that Titano's put out, I don't think Titano's copied anybody's use case. But go take a look. Oh, what we doing? Well, we're launching our own decks. I've heard that 4 times in the last week. 4 times from projects. Yeah, we're going to do our own decks. New projects launching. It's really been amazing. And I think it speaks to, several things, right? Just the innovation that's going on here. of so much of, unfortunately, lack of innovation in the industry. And what I always say, not always, but in some of those conversations, I'm always questioning people of, well, give me the rationale behind that. Like, why are you launching your own DEX? Are you the right type of a project to launch a DEX? Or do you know how to market a Titano play type game? It's really, really interesting. Like I said, if you just go around and look at all the use cases that, people just, you could think of anything, but Titano player, which is some version of Titano play, or, it's really interesting. And it really is something that I think we should be mindful of as we think about what we've all built. And I mean that to the Titans as well, over these nearly 11 months.
Yeah, isn't it interesting how I think we can definitely say we've drawn a roadmap for other projects to follow along. Not to say that not to say that we want to take credit for too much, but it's certainly the things that we've come up with, the things that the devs have come up with, gives hope to other projects, and they can do similar things. There's like you say, countless forks and then forks of our games, and forks of the method of and the path that we've taken. Other people are taking exactly the same path. And what I hope actually is, now that we have Swych relaunching, and with again, coming back to the fact that we have these really great incentives for the Launchpad, and for the DEX itself, for the fees, I really hope that some of these projects that are building and that are trying to follow in this path, I hope they just come over, because we can definitely help them.
Yes.
And I hope that's how these other projects see it as well. Please come to us, have a conversation. We'd love to have you here. That's what the DEX is there for. This is DeFi at its finest. It's the principle is that it isn't necessary to have someone in the middle taking a ton of money off you and off the table. No, this is a really, really generous set of fee structures, right? And it's so costly to build a DEX. It's so expensive in both time and resources, and then ongoing management. But hopefully, if we can pull other projects here as well, and they see the map is already drawn out, and the products are there for them to use, well, we can all benefit together. We really can. We can move forward together. And I'm optimistic that this will be a path for people.
Yeah, 100%.
Fantastic.
All right. I think if it's cool with you guys, just kind of close it off with some questions from the community that I've seen, or maybe some clarifications on some things I've seen just pop up in the chat and stuff like that, if that's all right with you guys.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome.
One thing, Summit, just, I know sometimes we repeat ourselves a bit in these conversations, but just so you know, people are coming in and out of the conversation. People are watching. Sometimes they'll jump in at the start. They can't stay for the whole call, or they'll jump in halfway because they've just left work, or they're in the car and it's the end of their journey. So, we want to be respectful to everyone, and we appreciate your time. We really do. And if you hear us repeating it, sometimes because I'll be saying it, and then David might come back to it later, or you'll come back to it later, to the same point. I think it's good, I think it's really helpful to hear it from different perspectives, but also to know that you're not going to miss anything. You can of course download this in the future and just listen to it again, but sometimes some of this is useful for people that are just jumping in. May have heard it before, but hopefully now you'll understand the process of this, and why we do it in a certain way.
Yeah.
Right.
Never know where you're going to be listening.
Okay,
got to get it in the right time.
Yeah, exactly.
Man. Yeah, so please, let's get to some questions.
Awesome. I have seen a few questions kind of just flow through the chat, and then just a few that people have sent me, just a list on there. I do want to quickly clarify some of the stuff that people have just been putting in the chat, because there were some questions about like the token burns and how Swych will work. One question I saw on there was, so once a week we'll be kind of just like dumping the tokens, and I just want to clarify on that no. once a week, we take all of the fees that we get, okay, from those tokens and burn them. So it's just not an instant burn. It's just a weekly accumulation of the tokens, and then all of them are burned that way. So it's not a dump. It is just an accumulation, and then we burn all of them. So that is the benefit there. I just wanted to clarify that because I saw a few questions pop up on that.
Yeah, that's quite confusing, Summit, for people sometimes. Can you just go over what's the difference between us burning it and us dumping it or selling it? Can you just
sure thing, 100%.
Sure.
Yeah, so like I was saying, every time there's a trading fee that happens, we take that trading fee and we burn that trading fee. So what happens is those tokens will enter a wallet, okay, and that wallet will then every week, okay, be burned. Now, what that means is those tokens are taken out of circulation. So for Titano, that means we take out all of the trading fees that you've made by buying or selling Titano from those Titano tokens. Those are all sent to the burn wallet, okay, which means they don't have a negative impact on price in any way, shape, or form. But as far as, like other projects, like let's say Pancake Swap or something, they just sell all those tokens and they cash it out for like BUSD or something like that, which means you have a huge sale that happens, and that has a negative price action on the token price because it's a sale. It's selling out the tokens and cashing it in for different money because it hits that liquidity pool. So what you're having is burn versus sale. What we're doing is burn. What Pancake Swap is doing for tokens is sale. Now, like I said, that means that for Titano tokens, it's a burn. For XYZ token, it's a burn. But for like BUSD to BNB, that is that trading fee comes back to the treasury. We take a little bit of that fee to then do buyback and burn. So it all eventually comes back to a buyback and burn. But no, that once a week is not a sale. That once a week is a burn. All those tokens go to a dead wallet, and it helps positively impact the token.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks, Summit.
Awesome. Wanted to clarify that because I feel like there was worries on that, and I just wanted to make sure, no, we're not Pancake Swap. We're not doing that.
Yeah, it's really
we're different. As far as other questions I have seen, one was in regards to TSP. There was some concerns about kind of how it worked, and how that percentage fluctuates. The way TSP works is that the more people that enter tokens, the lower the return rate is, and that's an automatic thing. So however many tokens get put in, it has a lower return rate on the APY because there's just more people invested. Now, if people take out their tokens, it'll slightly increase that return that you're going to get, just because it's based on the total amount of tokens that are entered in TSP and a formula on that. So that I know was a question as far as TSP goes. It's just an automatic process that goes through and actually sets that percentage there. Now, another big question I have seen on here is in regards to CMC, CoinMarketCap, and a lot of the FUD that's happening on CoinMarketCap. It's kind of in regards to people just posting negative things, making alt accounts, stuff like that. How can we combat that? How can we go about doing that? How can we answer the questions that they have? And I think a lot of it comes down to just having like positive talks, bringing up good information about Titano, keeping, from actually commenting on a lot of those negative FUD posts, because the more you comment on negative or fake posts, it actually bumps them up significantly. So you're actually negatively impacting Titano when you comment on a lot of those FUD posts. Instead, if you see a FUD post, okay, go ahead and just post a positive post. It overrides it.
Right.
And then comment on the positive ones, because the more times you comment on the positive ones, the more that boosts up that. Now, that's not me asking anybody to, lie and say anything that they wouldn't say on CoinMarketCap. But what I am saying is, for those of you trying to combat those CoinMarketCap posts, just make sure that you are not commenting on the negative ones as much as you want to, as much as you want to prove that person wrong. It just bumps their fake post, that negative post, to the very top. Now, if you're trying to correct them because they have a question, totally different animal. But if it's just, you know which ones are trying to be fun and which ones are genuinely have concerns on there. But yeah, CoinMarketCap has been a big one. I know there's been a lot of questions on that. So let's see.
Well said, Summit. Thank you for that.
Yeah. I got a few more questions. Oh, please go on and tag on if you'd like.
Yeah, just on that, the way we've marketed from the start has always been positive. We've never ever have we even considered doing any of this guerrilla negative marketing where we go out, we pay shillers or we pay bots, pay for bots to post negative comments or anything. We've never ever done that, and we never will. It's just not the way we want to do it.
No.
And as you say, Summit, the best way is just to not engage with it, because sometimes it's pre-programmed, sometimes people are paid to do those things, sometimes people are just bitter. But either way, in any of those cases, not responding is the easiest way to kill it, because it needs the fuel to continue. You can keep screaming in a vacuum, but that's it, right? So if you go on there, if you're going to post, just please don't react to those negative comments. Don't react to those people. We've never done it. We've never posted negatively. We've never fueled that. We've never encouraged it. And yeah, we're all about the positives here. Just bear with us. We're doing our hardest, working our hardest, and doing our best to make this the place to be for everyone. So yeah, just that's all I want.
Thank you, man. Thank you for that, John.
Yeah, thank you. That's really well said. But yeah, I just wanted to comment on that because I know a lot of that's been going around. And a lot of it's in regards to like last block stuff, because I know there's been a lot of concerns with last blocks, a lot of royalties and things like that. As far as like royalties, I know there's been questions about, has the royalties been, sorted out? Is there like a compensation for royalties and things like that? The royalties, I'll be completely honest with you, we're still looking into everything royalty-wise. Still looking into ways to improve upon it. As far as compensation goes, you still do gain royalties as long as you have like that minimum amount of blocks and such. But it's still being looked into, still being adjusted, so that it is, just a better overall version for all of you. I know when its first version came out, when Last Block initially released, like we've said in the past, there was a lot of feedback. There was a lot of confusion. I'll be the first to admit it as a person on the front lines, but through all of that, that feedback, that information, okay, we are learning, we're adapting, and we're going to change it so that it's just more beneficial. But as far as royalties, how that's working out right now, no set answer I have yet, but as soon as we do, we will be happy to share that with all of you guys.
Got it.
I think the final question really wanted to talk about that a lot of people have been asking about has been, and I know we talked and touched on it briefly, was tokens launching on Switch. Are there any tokens that we can name? Is there a set number of tokens? I think it's pretty safe to say that we've been approached by a lot. I mean, I have, as of right now, 3 new messages from 3 other projects that have actually reached out to me. That I'll have to take a look at as well. But we have to get Switch launched first, okay, before other projects can launch on Switch. And it's kind of what we talked about with like the Launchpad and things like that. It has to exist before they can exist, Right. So there isn't like a set number, okay, or a set name that I can give up for the projects, because there purely isn't anything set yet. So as soon as we are able to get all these projects ready, listed, and set to go, okay, we will just say, hey, this project's going to get listed, or maybe even, they'll post on there. It's great for them too to share that they're going to be launching on Switch and things like that. But there isn't a set number or set amount that will be at least launching with Switch as of today, purely because we got to get things rolling. Right now, we're just waiting for the domains to get resolved so that everything redirects itself to Switch, okay? The white paper should be online and ready to go. Now we just got to get the whole website. I was hoping it would be while we were on Titan Talk here, but it looks like it's going to be a little bit after, which isn't a problem. but it will be something that we're just waiting for domains to resolve. And anybody who's in the web development field knows the pain that is waiting for a domain to resolve. But yeah, as far as getting those projects listed and how many we have, the numbers, let's first get things launched. And then from there, we will have, the number and the project names and things like that.
Right.
Yeah, and I think we've only just recently gotten all the details of how projects are going to benefit from launching on Swych, in regards to the finalized fee structure and things like that. So the projects themselves are going to have to look into it, look and see how they're going to work around it, structure their marketing plan. So it's only partly in our hands. Once we are open for business, which will be when we launch, we're open for business, right? Once that happens, then everyone will hear about it. All the projects that we've reached out to, or they've reached out to us, they'll hear about it, and then they can prepare themselves accordingly and get their plans together. And then it really depends on them. So in terms of when they'll launch, well, it depends on when those projects are ready. That's not up to us. We can't force them. We can't push them along any faster than they're ready to go.
Right. Let me add one thing to that, and that is a couple of you Titans have reached out to me about project ideas. That's always welcome. Please continue to reach out to me directly, or John or any of the team Summit, and let us know, hey, I think this project, or whether it's a new project or an existing one, we're wide open to that as well. And as John said, we're getting details. A lot of these details about fees and things like that are just coming through. The guys have been figuring that out and how to make Swych as competitive as possible. So now that we have all of these details, we can then use them to assess whether an opportunity is really an opportunity. And it had to happen that way. So yeah, we're excited about it, and we'll move things along as quickly as possible.
Yep. 100% on that. I think those are kind of the main questions I've seen. Obviously, you guys are always free to message us, and we're happy to answer. I know I'm always open. Please hit me up with DMs. Of course, we also have an amazing moderator team in Reddit, Telegram, Discord, Twitter, all of them, so you can shoot your questions over there, and we are happy to answer them as if we have the answer available. I know sometimes we just don't have an answer at that exact moment. But please, shoot it to us and we'll get the answer back as fast as we possibly can. But as far as anything else that you guys want to talk about?
Can we recap the competition for everyone before we close off?
The competition?
Yeah, no, at the end, just before we just so we don't forget.
100%.
Yeah. So David, you were going to say something.
Yeah, go David.
Yeah, two things. First thing I wanted to say is I just wanted to thank the team, all the mods and all of the, all of us and the devs and, the people that the Titans that we're also working with. John mentioned earlier that we have a Titan who's working on doing a last block explainer video that will be ready. It's almost ready. It'll be released today. And it's just an example. He's amazingly talented, and we are so fortunate to have him and his passion and, the amount of work that he puts into doing this. You guys will see the video. He's the one that did the last really cool video, and we brought him in to do this again. And he's just an example of the, amazing community that we have, that's just interested in going above and beyond the call of duty to make this project work. So I want to thank everybody, right, from our team. You guys should see these conversations that we have with the mods when the Titans say something and we're in this chat and they're like, nope, they've got to be answered right now. This is a question. It's a good, and it's these debates that go back and forth in a very healthy way, but just the passion that everyone has around this project, it is really amazing to see and be a part of. And so I just want to thank everybody. We've got some brilliant people. We've got, a wide range of people with differing points of view and, who are passionate. And we created an environment like that. Hey, you need to say something, say it, right? There's no hierarchy with regard to good ideas or, who can speak their opinion. And believe me, we get it. And, I can attest to the fact that having this kind of an environment creates not only a really healthy environment where people are afraid to speak, but it also creates an environment where we get a lot of the good stuff out. And, and that's critical. Second thing I wanted to say, and I got three things to say, by the way. And the second thing I wanted to say is, I am still constantly made proud by when I talk with these other projects that want to engage with Titano, how revered and respected we are, right? One of the first things they always talk about is the community and how we built this amazing community, people who are just, advocates for what we're doing. And when they ask me to, why do I think that is? And I say that Titano represents, progress. It represents, it's doing its best to fulfill the promises that people were looking for when they came to DeFi. Transparency and real value, not talked about value, real value. And, no matter what happening, the devs and the team being committed, right, to turn that, if it's a negative situation, into a positive one, if it's a positive situation, to a more positive one, right? And we're clear about that. And, those are things that get delivered over time. And those are things that, are easy to spot. And so, I get a lot of projects coming to me going, what do you think the magic is? It isn't magic. It's just hard work. It's hard work and it's belief, right, in what you're doing, and it's belief in the people. There's so much respect for every person that engages in this project, whether you put $25 in or 25,000. You're all respected. Whenever I talk with people who are angry because maybe the moderator put them on a timeout or whatever, I always remind them, listen, your money's here, right? Your faith is here, and the moderator's job is to protect that. And that might mean at times protecting you from yourself, right? Because a lot of people get passionate and they want to say things, and it's like, dude, you do realize that that's putting your money in jeopardy. No, we're not trying to stop people from telling things that they believe, but we've got to create an environment that's positive, because positivity works. It just does, right? Having a positive attitude and freeing your mind and, opening yourself up to positivity. That's why you're here, right? You're here for that, right? You're running away from all that other stuff because you're unhappy. We all are, right? With how things are, right? And we're here, right, to create something positive. And this is what, this community and this amazing little project is all about. I'm proud of us. I'm proud to be a part of this. I'm humbled by the role that I'm able to play here. So, again, I say this to people all the time about what we're doing in DeFi. We're trying to prove something, and we can do it, right? We've seen what happens when we turn over our power and our belief to others who have no interest in what we want, right? We're trying to do it the other way. And of course it's going to be hard. We're going up against the most powerful industry in the history of the planet. That's today's banking system. I mean, what do you expect? These people are going to roll over? So all this misinformation and crypto's dead and DeFi and regulation involved. Let me tell you about regulation. We make the regulation. If we don't let them decide what our futures are going to be, they can't do it. We give them our power, right? This DeFi represents to me, and crypto represents to me, our ability to take it back, right? And use that collectively just to see what might happen. Just to see what might happen. So, all of my conversations, when I'm talking with new projects or when I'm talking with the Titans, it's all about, look, I'm challenging you to believe in you, right? That's not a Titano conversation. That's why we're all here. I had this discussion yesterday when someone said, we're all here for the money. I said, yeah, we're here for the money, but we're here for something else too. We're here for confirmation that things can be different. That's why we're here. Right? We don't want our kids and we don't want our family to have to go through all this stuff, playing it all the way that they've told us to. Do the right thing, work hard, stay on this side of the law. Well, what's supposed to happen? You're supposed to move forward. But what if you don't? Right? Then you realize that it's the system. And so we came here to say, could we affect this system? Could we do something a little bit different and cause a different outcome? I believe we can. It's what motivates me, right? So when I watch Titano, when I talk with people and, I say to them, stop trying to be pleasing to me because you think you can get something from Titano, and look at what Titano represents. Represents a bunch of people coming together and deciding we're going to focus on change. Titano did something amazing, right? In this DeFi space, if there's a problem, everybody runs. And here we are with a project where we've had every problem you could imagine, most of them caused by things outside of us, and nobody's running. I always say when these projects come to me, I'm like, isn't that amazing to you? Isn't that simply amazing? Look at what happened with Terra Luna and all of these projects. Everybody ran. And people aren't running from Titano. There's magic here. And it's us who's doing it. So I want to encourage us to always be mindful of that part of the story. Because that's what should remain. When we look at other projects, like I say, the community has to be part of the protocol. They've got to be center stage of all of this, and their needs and their benefits have to be what's at the front of things. That's why, I tell you guys, when we talk with the devs, that is never in question. It's always at the center of our conversations, right? And you guys do that because you're proving that things can be different. Yeah, it's hard as hell. And we're nervous as hell. But that nervousness is turned to kinetic energy. We're going to keep this thing moving. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to run into walls, but we're going to freaking get up and we're going to keep this thing moving. So I just want to commend all of you for being a part of this, for your courage, your fearlessness, and your belief and your faith. It is not taken for granted. It is not assumed. It is appreciated. And it makes us work harder than we want to at times. Like I tell you guys, it's well past midnight for me. And here I am and happy to be here. I'd rather be here than nowhere else. And I got up at 5:30 this morning. So, I know a lot of people will say to me, David, this passion, it's appreciated, but at times we don't know the value of it. I'll tell you the value of it, right? People move towards a vision. They move towards places where they see themselves thriving. I want all of us to see ourselves thriving here in this grand experiment that we're all a part of, that we willingly walked into. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of change, gonna be a lot of hardships, but at the end of the day, if we stick to it, we're gonna get where we wanna go. That's not me talking, that's history. It's not about the odds. It's not about what people say. It's not about what the status quo is talking about, or those people who have been creating the same atrocities that we've had to live through, going, whoa, blah, 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 blah. We're going to regulate. If people stand up, you're not going to regulate anything. You're going to regulate us into existence. Only going to happen is if we do what's been happening at Titano. Let's stick together. Let's win together. Let's be vocal about it. Let's be critical of each other. Let's push everybody. Let's make us keep our words, but don't give up on each other. Don't give up on ourselves. Don't give up on the reason that brought us here. Yeah, you want financial independence? Great, that's here. But also, you want to know what you know for sure. You want to be a part of this thing. You don't want to be sitting on the sidelines and all of a sudden someone decides what your future is going to be. That's in crypto. I don't know any other place where it is, but we've got to hold on to it. We got to recognize the value. And so, again, that's what Titano means for me. Sorry about my soapbox. You guys wanted passion? That's what it is. I'm here. I couldn't be any more excited for being here. Couldn't be any more faith-filled for being here. I couldn't be any more lucky than to be here. I love talking about this project. I love it. I love when people go, well, I don't understand Titano and rebase token. How much time do you have? Let me explain it to you. Every single time they're like, well, I never thought about it that way. Well, I think about it that way all the time. That's why I'm here, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be here. Summit, you should stop me now before I keep going. Oh man.
That was great, David.
No,
that's why people here. That's why people come here.
Oh man. I'm proud of us. I'm telling you, this is amazing. I never knew it was going to turn into this. But I'm so happy that it did. The stories that we hear all the time, oh, it just blows my mind. And now I'm mentoring some young people that I've met through Titano. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And what I always tell them is, man, this environment that we set up caused us to come together. And I'm excited about what you could come. Man, David, you sure you could spare the time? How could I not spare the time? You want to change things for all of us. I don't have time for that. Well, then what do I have time for? So, I don't ever want that part to get lost. We should be proud. These projects last 2 weeks to a month. We're almost 11 months in. It's amazing. Amazing. And all of these changes, and the devs still passionate, still fully engaged. What can we do to make this thing better? Everyone on the team fighting for it. Oh, I love it. And you guys too, right? The Titans, you guys, I get it from sometimes, you Titans, the OGs. Hey, you guys aren't doing this. And what do I say? Bring it on. You're right. That's a great idea. We're not doing enough in this area. You're all appreciated. You're all appreciated. Whether you're vocal or silent, we recognize all of you and are thankful for all of you. All right, I'm really off my soapbox now. Meditation after Titan talk. Relax so I can go to sleep. Anyway, there's my long-winded in conversation here. I appreciate you guys too.
Oh gosh, we appreciate you, man. Come on now. We're all in this together. No, but I think quick summary. Hey, we talked about Swych, we talked about the fees, we talked about the Launchpad. We're just waiting for the domain to get resolved right now so that everything can properly be accessed, which should hopefully be soon. But like I said, domain resolves just take a little bit of time. Once it is all set, it will go live and we will announce it and you guys will all see it. So just stand by for that. As far as the competition, like we said, it will be $100 that goes to whoever makes the most creative, like banner, video, anything like that. $100 in BUSD. You just have to share it on any of our social platforms, or there's also an option for people to make memes. If you make a meme, you have an opportunity to win $50 in BUSD. That meme has to put Swych in like a positive way or a funny way or something like that, just to gain some attention. Again, post that to our social platforms. And then, of course, there's 4 little $25 BUSDs that we're giving away to people who repost things, share it on Twitter, whoever has the most liked messages, shared messages, things like that. And then, of course, just share your tweet or your post back into the community so we know who you are and so we can see that. And then just make sure to use #Swych, #Titano when you're posting that out as well. I think I covered all of that. I think I got all the competition stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Spectacular. John,
two prizes. Two meme prizes, right? 2 prizes.
2 meme prizes.
Yes. Great. Awesome. I'm excited.
All right.
John, please give us a little.
As soon as we end this call, I'm going to be typing up my memes, drawing pictures of frogs.
Oh man, drawing pictures of frogs. Anyway, man, anything you say, John? Come on, man, say something.
No, I really can't follow what you said. You hit the nail on the head. It's if it's about value, if it's about passion, you encompassed everything there. It goes back to what we talked about earlier. Don't look at the price. It's hard. It's difficult sometimes because we all held a bit of Bitcoin or Binance Coin, BNB or ETH, or they've all gone down. If you're holding stocks and shares, they've all gone down. If you've got a mortgage, that monthly payment has gone up. So
something's going up. Woo!
Yeah, exactly. Everything isn't as quite as rosy as it was 6 months, 8 months, 10 months ago. That's just the way it is. But these things, there are dips, there are troughs, and there are peaks, and we're in a dip right now, but it will go back up. Keep the faith. Hold on to the things in your life that are valuable. Hold on to the things that are that you've invested in, that you've put time into, right? If you've put time into this project, you've learned about it, you will have learned who's in this project with you, whether that's fellow community members, as you're saying, David, some wonderful people here, and or whether that's the moderators that you talk to. These are real people, real personalities. You get to see them day in, day out. If you annoy them, they will ban you or quieten you for a minute. You know, these are real people you're dealing with, right? And the devs too, Summit, David, yourself, you know, myself, we're all here. You can reach out, you can chat to us. You've put your time here. You've invested, it's more than the dollars that you put in. You've invested your time into learning about this, and you can see, I hope, that equally the devs are investing time, Summit's putting time in, David's putting time in, you know, everyone, the moderators, they're putting real time in. You can see that things are developing here. There's real value wherever people put their time into. There's real value there. And when we come out of this dip, when we come out of this trough, it will show that time, that value. Like I said, it's a drip, then it becomes a flood. It's compounding on the work that we put in. If everyone wants this to happen, if everyone wants this to work out, it will work out. You know, go out there, repost those memes, repost those gifs, do your little bit. You know, share the love. Talk about Titano. You know, sometimes the market looks bad, but you can still say, hey, these are the things I've invested in. These are the things I believe in, right? Ignore the noise, ignore the negativity. We don't really deal in that. And there's a reason why, you know, we're too busy working. We're too busy building. Anyway, that's my mini soapbox.
Love it, man. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you, John. Thank you, Summit. Thank you, Titans.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. We'll get that announcement out as soon as we're ready. And yeah, thank you everybody for coming. Appreciate all of you.
Yeah, thank you all. Bye-bye.